Welcome back, Clip Trailblazers, to another episode of ESL Trailblazer. I'm Nandis, and today's episode, number 121, we're continuing with the Fluency Storytelling series, where I tell you a story, incorporating some of the words from a previous episode, just to give you some context and maybe help you use them yourselves, okay? Today's episode is on motivational expressions. Boom. Love to be motivated. You know I want to motivate you. And I hope you're going to enjoy today's story that I'm going to share with you from my own personal life, using some of the language that hopefully you can adapt and use yourself. So right after this brief intro, we're going to get started. Don't forget it. See you in a sec. Welcome back, everybody. Without further ado, let's get started. Should I not mention, though, first of all, that if you like these episodes, you can subscribe or sign up for the newsletter. That's once a month. The newsletter comes up, the Freshen Up Fridays newsletter. And the language for this episode is from episode number 12, Motivational Expressions. You can find it, boom, right up here. Click it if you want explanations on the language. All right, let's get started. So my motivation story for today, gonna keep it short, is my first Tough Mudder, they call it in America or in England. In Poland, they call it Armageddon race. So when I started my running journey, which is my hobby to run, I am a runner, I was an amateur and I didn't know what I was doing, but I thought what could motivate me was to sign up for one of these obstacle course races. And the first one I chose was a Armageddon race, Tough Mudder race, if that's what you prefer, but same idea, okay? And it was taking place on the North Sea coast of Poland near Gdansk. All right, so I didn't know what to expect, but I knew I had to be ready. It was going to be over 12 kilometers with 50 obstacles, and the obstacles range from climbing walls to going under nets, a lot of crawling, a lot of climbing, a lot of hanging, jumping, and you're getting very dirty. And you don't know what the weather conditions are going to be. I remember for this race in particular, it was like late winter, early spring, right there. So basically in Poland, that means kind of a question mark. It's a crapshoot. You don't know what you're going to get. It could be freezing. It could be a nice sunny day. So what did I do to prepare? Well, I had to have thick skin. I had to have thick skin because in order to prepare for such a race, I had to go running in winter and it was freezing cold outside. My incentive was the race. I used the race and getting a good finish as an incentive to go and train. My incentive was also losing weight and getting in shape, like strength, building some muscle from the obstacles and the running, okay? So that's what kind of pushed me to get up and go and do the training, okay? When you're doing a training like that, you gotta pull no punches, and that means that even if I was hungover from a party on the weekend, on Sundays, I would wake up and still go and do my running. Or I would go outside and I would do some pull-ups, okay? And I didn't let anything rattle me. Okay, that's one of the expressions, okay? I didn't want to get rattled by the cold weather, the wind, the rain, the snow, the ice in winter when I was mostly training, okay? You need to have drive, and it goes very well with determination. So what I would do was I would set my alarm on some days for really early, and then I'd wake up and drink a coffee, put some butter in there, black, and before my kids woke up, I would be out the door in the darkness and running 10 kilometers, come back, do some push-ups, and boom, I would have that done before my day started with my kids. That was I had determination to do this race because it was my first one and I didn't want to embarrass myself. So that's kind of what drove me. And my determination came from, I need to do this before I get very tired spending the day with my kids. Okay? So sometimes I needed help. So who did I rely on to give me a spot? Usually it was my wife, who would motivate me and say to me, hey, don't you have to go tomorrow for a run? Make sure you set your alarm. Hey, here's a plate of food. Eat this so you have energy. Okay? Or you can do it. Don't give up. She was giving me a spot. What else? You gotta make sure that you don't throw in the towel. And let me tell you something, during training in the winter, I had many mornings where I wanted to throw in the towel and not get out of bed and go and do the training that I needed to prepare for this race. On race day, when it finally arrived, just to wrap up this story, I almost did throw the towel at the very beginning because we had to go into the freezing Baltic Sea and my feet and legs went literally numb within seconds. And when I got out, my heart was beating so fast and I was so worried about my feet, my toes freezing off that I almost threw in the towel, okay? But I used the rationale in my head was if I keep moving, I will warm up my legs and my feet and my toes and I won't my toes will not freeze. And I also had determination because I was in a race and again, I didn't want to embarrass myself and I wanted to make sure that I finished so that I could be proud of the achievement. So that was what also was driving me during the race, okay? So that's it. That's all I got for you. Those are the expressions that I used from the motivation episode, and I hope you liked the story. I did finish the race. It wasn't at the successful time that I was hoping for, but I used that as motivation for the next race, and maybe I'll share that with you in another story. But until that time, please leave a comment if you like these fluency stories. I'd like to get your feedback from them. Until next time, get ready, because I got more coming. As always, thank you. Share if you care. Later.